What's happening, guys? Welcome back to episode 6, picking up from Fort Height West. So, with last episode, that did wrap us up with the lower limgrave. So, what we're going to be doing this episode is focusing on central limgrave. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is just close out this little wooded area. There's not much happening here, but there are a few items, especially for those that did not follow along. In fact, we probably grabbed most of this with our early run around, getting you guys set up with your flask of water physic and just a few starting items. So we're gonna, keep on moving, but we'll call it out as we go. Now, as soon as we get here, I would go and clear these demi-humans if you want to talk to the merchants. These guys are just dying for attention. They're just dying for attention. And as you see, there's kind of a few up here, Super annoying guys. Either way, if you did not follow along, right over here on the right-hand side is going to be a merchant. So this guy has 2 cookbooks you're going to want to pick up. For me, I'm going to pick up every single cookbook in the game, as it's very much worthwhile to extend your crafting as much as possible, right? Just the very few that we found and bought. We already have a few different types of throwables. We have some cleansing items. We have a few different types of weapon buffs. Dragon Wound Grease gives extra damage against dragons. You have Bleed Grease, which is really good. So over here he has one that gives you Exalted Flesh. So Exalted Flesh, I don't even know if he has any for sale here. I do believe it's the one that's more expensive. Let's see. Yeah. So Exalted Flesh is a consumable that gives you 20% more damage for like a minute. Which doesn't seem like much, but it's really, really good for boss fights and stuff like that. So I would highly, highly recommend picking these up. As I said, once we're getting runes a lot more often, I'll probably pick it up here in a bit. Now, as you go up, if you guys remember your, not fort, but the ruins. They're right here on the left-hand side. As soon as you see that, if you were to jump over here to the right, you're going to go uphill. There's going to be a scarab right here with the Ash of War. It's just butt slam, ground slam I think it's called, but that's what it is. Super butt slam, so you just jump in the air, slam down on your ass. Really goofy. Hard to, it's just not something I would take extremely serious, right? But you guys might like that. Now, there is going to be stuff on the left side of the road. We'll get it once we've cleared everything on the right. Right in front of this room bear, there's going to be a cookbook we've already grabbed. Over here, and you can see the Erd Tree on your map, but right behind the Erd Tree is a few Tears for Your Wondrous Physic. We've already grabbed this. With that, you're also going to see this building. So enter this building is actually, so that's your Erd Trees. There's a couple, Tears for Your Wondrous Physic right here. This is going to take you to an underground region. We're not going to do that for quite some time. If you guys want to take it down, get the Side of Grace, check out the area, feel free to do so. I don't really think there's any potential triggers down there. However, I would try to follow along with the walkthrough, as there are certain triggers in certain places you could mess things up. Quests, trophies, But I think you're okay to go on down there. It's not going to come for quite some time, so I'm not really worried about it. So either way, as far as everything on the right, there's not anything really going on. So we're going to jump to the Third Church of America. Everything else is pretty much on the other side of the road. If you got the merchant, you got the scarab, and then you got your Tears for Your Wondrous Physic. So we already got all this. Now, from the Third Church of America, working our way back, if you go back into this lake and go to the left-hand side, there's going to be a battle taking place with a bunch of wolves and a rune bear. Now, he's guarding a smithing too, and that doesn't seem like much, but we are trying to restock all of our upgrades as we start bringing up weapons. And you guys, you don't realize, there's over 300 weapons in the game. Boss weapons included, there's a lot of weapons. But you guys, if it's your first playthrough, you're going to want to test different things out. We really need to stock up on our upgrades. There's only so many you're going to find. And there's a lot you can buy too, but yeah, there's only so many you're actually going to find. And it costs so many just to bring one weapon. Now, Room Bears, we showed you guys a little strategy before. They're really not that bad. That wolf is annoying. See that thing. They're not that bad if you know when its hits are coming. So use your shield if you're worried about them. Keep in mind, too, you guys do not have to fight these guys. It's not the rams. The rams are the ones who move to always get spammed. So yeah, fight them if you want to, you don't have to. The only thing we're really after is the items right here. So those are drops, and then your smithing too, which I think we may have already even got. A few crafting items. Trina's Lily is what's needed to craft sleep pots, sleep buffs. This is stats that will come later Alright, so now we got that. We're just going to jump back to the Third Church of America. On our way back, there's a few things to do. So first things first, going straight on out. We're going to ignore the main road for now, and what we want to do is go uphill. Last episode with clearing Fort Height West, that is the next step for Kent Heights quest. Now, we introduced you guys to Kent Height at the the start of the game. He asked us to clear out the fort. Once we've done so, we report back, and then that will move him on, in his quest. Now, the other steps of his quest don't come for a long time, but we'll go ahead and grab a dagger from him and just exhaust his dialogue for now. So he's going to thank you for clearing the fort. He's going to try to bring order back to the region, take over the fort. But everything kind of goes awry, and he wants to knight us, but he can't because just the situations, of the status of the world, I guess you could say. So this is going to take us deeper into the game. We have to meet other NPCs, find someone to make the Lord of Limgrave and take over the main castle. It's a big thing. So, like I said, most of it doesn't come until later. For now, we'll just grab his dagger. I did want to let you guys know what's going on, though. But he's going to offer to knight us. Just keep talking to him. You'll eventually see enter his service. So pledge service. So his questline ties into two other NPCs questline that we have not met yet. Eventually this will lead to getting like a final upgrade map, which is ancient dragon smithing stone. So that'll get your weapons all up to plus 25. But it just doesn't come for a really long time. Now as soon as you leave him, we're going to head like straight for the Earth Tree. You can't really miss it. And you're going to notice a little pond over here. It's got a few room bears. Wouldn't recommend fighting them. If you want to, have at it. But I wouldn't really recommend it. We just want the loose loops. They do add up, right? And that will bring you right back to the main road. Ensure we're not missing any items. Now we're going to work our way back up. So this is where we're going to knock out the ruins. And then a graveyard behind the ruins. Other than that, only other thing is over here. You have your bats. It's just little items, guys. That's why I wanted to knock this out at the beginning of the episode. It's kind of tedious, but we got to get it all, right? Now, you're running to the fort, and over to the right is the graveyard. So we're going to, the ruins. And we've already done Blab's quest. We're caught up there. We already grabbed the talisman, too. The only thing really left is right here in the center is a chest with a smithing, too. So we're going to pick that up. Fight the room bear if you want, but you do not have to. Now, as soon as you grab that, if you just look right over here to your right-hand side. Did I take wholly off my weapon? Son of a biscuit. So if you're fighting the undead, they always come back at least once. You have to hit them while they're on the ground. So you're going to kill them, and then they're going to be on the ground trying to rebuild themselves. You have to hit them again to kill them. While you have on Saber's Blade, you just hit them once and they die, so it does help out. Sacrificial twig will prevent rune loss. It's a consumable item, so you can't have it on forever. Only when used in case of emergencies. His shield, hoping we get a drop. Probably won't. It's kind of rare. It's so good, man. I love it. I just love the shape and the size of it. There's not that many crazy medium shields in the game. Stat-wise, I mean, it's not like the best one, but it's decent. The bigger thing is I just really like the shape of it. Like I said, there's not that many medium shields that super good. Alright, you little bitch. So if you get poisoned, we did pick up Flame Cleanse Me. Not really worried about it. Now after you grab that, we're just going to go right behind these guys. Hey, you little fucker. Come here. There's too much shit to do this episode to do with you. Alright. Like I said, we're not really worried about them because we can just go right to Flame Cleanse Me. Poison's gone. Just like that. Alright. So once you got them down, run like hell. Big plant. And we're just working our way back to where we initially started. That brings you back to where we were last episode. This is just going to take all the way back to Fort Height West. That's the gravestones. We did already hit that. Yeah, so we're done. That's it. But, with that, kind of tedious, but like I said, did need to be done. So this whole area is now, wrapped up and full. Nothing left to worry about whatsoever. So what we're going to be doing now is going back to Third Church America. Yeah, okay, so we're going to take the main road up. Alright. So now... all we're really going to be doing is working our way down to the lake. There's a side of grace, a few items. Now, this first part of the episode is a little tedious. I'm not going to lie. It's really just to pick up items because it's 100% walkthrough. Now, once we get up back to, you know, once you're near the lake, that's where the episode really picks up. You know, caves and catacombs, NPC quests and invasions, dragon fights, like all types of really cool stuff. But, you know, I want to make sure I get you guys all the, especially at the start, you know, where you don't, okay, you annoying fuck, where you just don't really have much. Every consumable adds up, every item adds up, you know, you want it all. This stuff is going to be very helpful. And even if you don't care for it, sell it, you know, through rooms, right? But having all the stuff, I do believe it's going to be nice right at the start. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull the shield back out. I feel like that'd save us a lot. So a couple items under there. Then as we go up, there's going to be a side of grace on our left. Where are you, son of a biscuit? Oh, right there. You gotta pick that up. Then from there, as you're going up, you can take those guys out if you want. There's going to be a little dirt trail to your right-hand side. It's on the map. It's like a really short branch of, I think this is it right here. So it's going to bring you, actually, that's where you're going, right there. There's a little trail. It's going to shoot us back over here for a little hut. Now, there's another way to enter this area, but this is like the real way you're supposed to go. That's just help. If you want it, grab it. Alright, there it is. Yeah, so it's just a really tiny road. Now, I'll show you another way to get to this, but this is like the, you know, the actual way you're supposed to find this. Now, this is a puzzle. So this is a painting puzzle. There are a few of these places throughout the game, usually one in every region, called the Artist Shack. Now, the Artist Shack, how this works is you're going to find a painting. Now, what you need to do is go to the location the artist sat at when he was painting that exact portrait, right? It's not really necessarily where the portrait is of, but where the artist was sitting while he painted it. So this is going to bring us very close to where we were last episode. And once you have that, there's really nothing else here to grab, so we're going to jump over here to Seaside Ruins. We'll go ahead and solve this painting. So this is going to get you a pretty cool helm that reduces your mana cost of incantations. So just, you know, little cool stuff, nothing too crazy. So from Seaside Ruins, you're just going to start heading back towards the first step. Like, you can't miss. It's actually, like, I think, like, right here. So you start heading over to the first step, and that's where we're really going to be taking off from anyways. Now, you eventually run into some tombstones, about 2 pillars up right here. And the painter set right here. That's what the painting was of. See how that works? So it's not really going to where the painting is, but where he was sitting when he made that painting, as previously stated. Alright, so now we got that, we're going to jump to the first step. Like I said, incredibly tedious, I know, but, you know, it needs to be covered. So, what we're going to do next is we're going to be clearing all of the lake aside from the dragon. The dragon's going to spawn in over here. Make sure you put like a real marker, like a skull, so you know. He's the last thing we're doing this episode. I want to try to get you guys some more levels, so maybe get more health before fighting the guys. Dragons can be, you know, a bit tough this, you know, early on. So what we're going to do is go into the lake. We're going to knock out these ruins, grab a couple loose loots, just do a quick scan through here, and then shoot straight back into here. All right. So go pretty quickly. I don't really even think you need to jump off torrents, to be completely honest. Now remember, just stay away from the left side of the lake. I think we're pretty well suited for the dragon. It's more of a precaution. To wait till to do the hardest thing at the end of the episode just makes sense. So when you get to the ruins, what you're going to be doing is shooting to the very far right side. The only way to enter this is to jump over the wall with torrent, otherwise you will miss this. So there's a few ruins like this that are hiding chests or weapons or items. And the only way to enter is with your horse. So it's really easy to miss this stuff. This will get you a dex weapon, which is the twin blade. It's okay, I played around with it a bit in my first playthrough. Twin blade, what's not to like about that, you know? Definitely a two-handed weapon. Alright, now you got that. We could jump up for it, it'll go pretty quick. Just a few loose items. Handful of enemies, but they're all smaller guys. So should go fairly quick. Thank you. Get your drop. There's some pretty decent stuff here. Get another stonework key. You always want to really have a healthy stock of those too. Don't even worry about going down here. This is a transporter trap that's going to get you stuck in a nasty tunnel in Caelid. It's an area we've already been to, but if you didn't know, about the teleporter and how to get to Caelid, that would send you there early game. But until you can find the side of grace there, you're going to be trapped. You're not going to be able to leave, and you're going to be surrounded by the very irritating enemies. You guys are not going to find it fun. Take my word on that. Don't take it. It does get you near the meteorite sap. I already grabbed that for you guys. But either way, right when you see the stairs, if you go on the other side, the back end, just get ready for a rat right here. Stone sword key. We got the weapon, got the stone sword key. We got the runes. And that should be about it over here. Remember, we're not doing the left side of the lake yet, so let's just double check, then we're on our way. And that's the ruins. Just not much happened. Decent crafting stuff, but that's really it. Alright, so from here, we're going to swing to the right. Now, the only thing really here is actually going to be an Ash of War for a katana, is what it's going to work best on. It's called Unsheathed, where you go into a stance and just really quick swipe. There's going to be a bunch of crabs that pop up. Fight them if you want, but I'm not too worried about it. You could actually line them up as they chase you, and they'll kind of kill each other, but it's a waste of time. We have too much to cover. Now from there, we're about to shoot straight up that valley I showed you guys on the map. This crab's in our way, so we're going to take him out. They used to be so hard in Dark Souls 3. Now in Elden Ring, you're just so strong or nothing. Alright, now right here, these are puffers. So what these are going to do is when you start doing damage or even just get close, they're going to do this huge cloud of poison, right? And there's an item buried behind them. So what you want to do, I mean, we have Flame Cleanse, be sure, but you'd have to sit there and beat on all of them and kill them all. The easier thing to do, and this is actually pretty cool too, I love showing this off. I was probably 500 hours in the game before I ever figured this out. It's really cool. But we got a de-aggro. Okay, so if you go down here to crafting, if you picked up all the same stuff as I have, you should have Fetid Pot. We just need one of them. So craft that. I want to show you guys something. It's fun too. It's not just cool, it's actually fun to do. But Fetid Pot is poison. Now they do poison. But even though they, do poison damage, we could actually overload them with poison. And it's going to just blow them all to hell real quickly. So it saves you a lot of time. Check it out. It's like a chain reaction, like domino effect. Boom. You see that? So it just saves you a lot of time. We don't want to have to sit there and whack on these guys for 10 minutes. Alright, so Atria leaf. And as mentioned, that is worth your time because the Atria leaves are a very good crafting ingredient, but they're so rare. There's just not many around. So the only thing left at this time is a dragon. We've already did the tunnel earlier. We got all the items, so we're going to be shooting straight up. Now, as soon as you get over here, there's going to be an invasion event. Now, this guy is going to be using a lot of blood loss, and it's just not a good time. It can be very difficult. In fact, there's kind of not really a cheese, just an easy way to take him down. So using Bloodhound's Fang, actually, with the weapon art, we can kind of just spam the weapon art and take him down, because what he can do is throw blood off of your dagger, and off of his dagger, and it's just going to keep building it up, and it's just going to annihilate you. Now, there is a guy that will come and help. Yuria, that we met a few episodes back, that samurai guy that warned you of the dragon. Well, he will come help, but he takes forever to spawn in at the end of the day. We could also put on blood loss of our own. So this weapon art has innate bleed, but now we could, use Blood Flame Blade. Now, the weapon art will help a lot. I don't have any upgrades into this, but it should be just fine. Look at that. There we go. Dead. You see how easy that is? I mean, we don't have any upgrades in this weapon. It's a pretty dope weapon if you want to keep it on, though. I want to. It's just a little heavy for us still, unfortunately. We'll probably play with it here in a bit. Alright, so there's Yuria. And that gets you the Reduvia. Now, I said that we'd talk about every build, what's good for every build, and the only one we couldn't really touch on was arcane because there's not many arcane weapons in the game, period. Some of the best weapons in the game are arcane, but they're really, really late game aside for Reduvia. So Reduvia, 13 arcane, dex at 13. Very much, if you were doing arcane, you should be doing dex. There's one strength arcane weapon, but it doesn't do blood loss or anything. It does magic damage and physical. It's just a solid great sword. So if you just want to do like a regular physical build, you could bring up arcane to get magic damage on a super cool weapon. It's just, like I said, decent great sword later on. So Dex Arcane's the blood loss. Dex Arcane's really strong arcane builds. But this is something that will buy you time. So critical damage, it's got the 110 modifier, so you get more damage on critical attacks. The blood loss is at 30 because it's a quick attacking weapon. But the more arcane you have, the more blood loss it's going to do. So you got to keep that in mind too. Not to mention, it's the only option for arcane at this point. So once you've taken him out, we'll talk to Yuria here in a bit. But there's actually a cave that was right by that invasion event. So we'll go ahead and cut on our lantern. Grab your side of grace. We'll probably rest up too. I mean, we have 7 heals, but mana and everything else. You know what? It's going to get to a point where... Now, this is preference. This is preference. But it's going to get to a point where I'm wanting to cast more spells. We'll start getting some better ones. So I'm going to go 6 and 2. I mean, we got so many right at the start, we'll be fine. This cave isn't difficult. I wouldn't worry about your runes. Now, when you go in, there's going to be a trap right here. Don't even worry about it, because what it does is going to help these guys that's all come at you. But if you notice, you kind of line them up easier. And get your ass whipped, apparently. Thank you. Yeah. I think it's easier, though, because you're kind of choke pointing them. Meaning, you're getting them in a straight line and you're just messing their shit up. Cleanse me. While we pick that up in our early runaround. And that's really what your early runaround is for, guys. It gets you a couple start weapons that's better than what you started with. Get Flame Cleanse Me so we could cleanse status effects right at the start. A couple extra heals. That's what I said. We weren't trying to get OP, but, it did allow us to grab a few things that really, really helped out. Now, when you go in here, this is going to start a very long NPC quest. The thing about it is you don't want to kill this guy. If you're doing like Dex Arcane or whatever, you're using Bloodhound's Fang, take it off. Do not have a weapon with blood loss. If you accidentally kill this guy, you're fucked. You cannot do his quest. It's not trophy related, but you would miss out on some stuff. So what we want to do is just cause him to go down to half health and then forgive him. And he can be a little annoying. He's just so persistent. He's about done. There he goes. So, pretty much, when you pop this chest, that's the trigger, because you're still in his clothes. So, Patches, if you've never played Dark Souls, is the NPC that always pops up somewhere to kind of just fuck you over. However, we're going to cover his quest, but, yeah, he's always like, hey, there's treasure down off this cliff in this hole, and then kicks you off of the cliff, or robs you, or, that, and in every Dark Souls game, every FromSoft game. So, he's going to do something similar in this game as well. He was in Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1, Demon Souls, all of them. So he's always kind of a prick, but he does have a very obscure quest that always, is involved in the game as well. So we're going to go ahead and forgive him, and he's going to open up as a merchant. Forgive and forget.
True, man. I'm pat tarnished, like only for now. In exchange for, honestly, frankly. So don't be. I'll be ready to.
So his next spot is actually going to be in Liurnia. And a lot of people think that you have to wait till you get to Liurnia to get to his shop. And what's weird is because you have to fight Margit here in Limgrave, right? And he sells an item that can help in that very difficult fight, at least difficult for newer players. And they're like, well, what's the point? Because we don't run into him until Liurnia. I'm going to show you something. Quit the game, load back in.
Well, nice it's all a bit and welcome. You won't need it.
There you go. That's what you do. You do not have to wait till the area, guys. But it does have some good stuff. So if you are struggling, and I've already told you guys, don't farm. I feel like it ruins the experience. It's just better if you slowly earn all your levels, right? And that's the general experience of the game. And pretty much, like, my first Souls game, I struggled, I farmed, got a bunch of levels. And, from my personal experience, it ruined the game for me. I had to start it all over. I did not enjoy it from there. It just didn't feel earned. It didn't have that sense of achievement. That's why I always, warn against it. However, if you are struggling and feel that you need to farm, right here, Missionary's Cookbook is going to allow you to actually craft gold pickled fowlfoot. So gold pickled fowlfoot are these. It gives you extra 30% of runes when you kill enemies. So if you're farming, items like that will cut the time off. I don't care for it, but I want all the cookbooks. Right here, Margit's Shackle. This will tie Margit to the ground for about 5 seconds, let you beat on him. I think it's only able to be used in phase 1. However, it is a really good item because it also will reveal a bunch of hidden passages. Like if there's illusionary walls, you could use that item. It'll reveal all the hidden passages. So we'll be picking that up when I have the runes or maybe farm to get them. Then you're going to see another chest over here. Don't open it. It's just going to pop you out right in front of some, I think, like 2 rune bears. It's a trap. Like I said, that's what Patches does. It's his thing. But either way, now that we got that caught up, we'll go ahead and grab another level. Puts us at 20 finally. And I said that we were going to try to bring this up to like 20 and then this to 20. But really, or maybe we still will. But yeah, we want to try to get that at 40 as soon as possible. But I still want to get that weight up. We'll probably go 20, at least put 5 levels into endurance for a little bit of extra weight. And then we'll finish that up. Just so we can wear better armor sets as we find them. Either way, guys, with Patches caught up, we went over his inventory, talked about the items worth getting. So now what we're going to want to do is go straight on down. Now, Yuria tried to help you into the invasion event there, or he did, if you stayed alive long enough for him to actually show up. So once you've done that, you're going to go down here, and this will be his next spot. After this, you won't see him for a bit. It's important to talk to him. So he's just going to warn you about the dragon again. And he's also going to talk about there are tarnished out there that hunt their own kind. They've rebelled against the Erd Tree. Now they hunt other tarnished. And these are bloody fingers. We've just encountered and killed one. So his quest, he wants us to kill 3. That being the first. So we'll see him again in the area. Now, once you have that, if you just go straight back, there's actually a really short catacomb we can knock out, which is right here. That's what I told you. I said at the beginning of the episode, it seemed a little tedious. It was just, items out in the world. Regardless, it needed done. But once we started getting into it, there's a lot. There's actually a lot here in Central Limgrave. Not even halfway through it. Alright, so this is a straightforward catacomb. It's so short, guys. Now, these fuckers are so sneaky this time around. You see them hanging from the ceiling, trying to sneak up behind you. Remember, they are using blood loss. I know a lot of people that struggle with them. Just use your shield. Let them get staggered off your shield. Go up and put them down. Now, if you look to your right, that is your boss door. Now, typically this would come last, but I'm going to try to get these guys knocked out because there's a bunch in the other room too. Might make life easier. Now, what I would do, you see that floor trap? It's meant to kill you, but we're going to use it to kill these guys. That's what I told you. Just because something's meant to kill you doesn't mean you can't use it to your advantage, right? Alright. Now. Like I said, we still have to open the boss door, but I think it's easier just to go ahead and knock that out. Because right in here, same thing again. It's just so back to back. You get them both. One more, but lock-on's not picking up. Okay, good. Alright, so with that, you're pretty much done. We're going to pull our lever and go fight our boss. There's just another mini-boss, essentially. Your Grave Warden Duelist. So it's a really big guy, and he's got this colossal great hammer. I think he's dual-wielding them. So he's pretty telegraphed, pretty easy to parry, too, if you have that. But all we're really trying to do is just stay out of his way, back up, roll, get behind him, hit here, hit there. You can try to stay on him, but a lot of times in fights like this, being aggressive is what fucks you up. So it's better to try to look for openings. Now his damage isn't that substantial. The grab attack's probably the worst of it. There we go. 2 guard counters. 2 guard counters, the same thing as 2 guard heavies. Try to get a heal off real quick. Yeah. So you gotta wait for the end of the combo for the guard counter. Yeah, there's this bullshit combo. It's probably easier to put it back up than that. Come in. Thank you. Oh yeah, not really that difficult. So when the game was first released, he used to drop his hammer. It's a one-handed hammer, but it's really big and really heavy. And it was cool as shit. Well, unfortunately, they took that out. So you don't get that hammer anymore. Now, when you get to the capital, very far into the game, you could actually farm those guys. They're kind of like basic elite enemies in the castle, but you're not guaranteed to get it anymore, unfortunately. Instead, you're going to get Banished Knight Ingval. So Banished Knight Ingval is a phenomenal summon. Like, this is one that will carry you for like the first third of the game, which you gotta remember, the first third of the game is like fucking 20 hours, right? Seriously, it's like 20-30 hours. So that's how big the game is. So I mean, it's just something really nice to have. So at this point, we've already cleared everything over here. We've cleared the entirety of the lake aside for 1 dragon. That's it. But the entirety of the lake, everything back here, we've already went and, you know, did the artist shack. So all we have left for this episode is gate front, a camp, a side of grace, and a dragon. That's it. So what we're going to want to do first... Oh, actually, yeah, we got that ruin. I was going to say that for last, but I want the dragon last. Yeah, let's just go ahead and knock out gate front. Sorry, guys, I'm literally looking down at my notes and trying to do all this at once. So there's no real reason to clear it because we've already got the whetstone, we already got the great sword. The only thing we're actually missing was right here. We go into your right hand side. We'll take these 2 guys out, pop this chest, and that's going to give you a flail. So flail is another weapon with innate blood loss if you guys want to check that out. And once we have that, from Aguil Lake North, if you just go straight up, it's pretty much like a camp right here, and just some loose items. But nothing too crazy, but regardless, it's some, you know, some items we're going to want to pick up. Just going straight back to you see that structure, and that's your camp. Now, there's usually 2 of these guys patrolling, maybe more depending on, you know, who aggro. There's usually 2 of them out front, and I think 1 or 2 in the camp as well. Look at that, it knocked me all the way back. Eat shit. Alright. So I definitely would recommend taking those guys out first. Don't want to get backed in here. Then we're going to run up. He's buffed up. Be careful, his damage output just went up. So that is a roar ability. Certain ashes of war, certain weapons have ashes of war. They have an ability where you kind of stomp the ground and roar, then you glow in red aura. That is a damage. It gives you like 20% extra damage for a minute or 2. Alright, we'll grab your cookbook, and that's what this was really about. Armor's cookbook, get him. Their curved sword's actually pretty nice if you get it to drop. Now, just beyond this camp, you're going to see a bunch of wolves running around. You can stay on torrent. You really want to clear them. I mean, actually, if you're doing a bow build or want to use bow, you know, like a bow as a side weapon, I would recommend you guys take them out because if they drop the beast bones, you can use that to craft arrows. So you have a, you know, healthy supply. So you see that thin beast bones. So that's how you're going to get, you know, a lot of crafting ingredients to keep yourself stocked with arrows. Alright. Then once you get them, if you keep going all the way over here to the edge, this is that little canal we just did, and that's pointing at the catacombs we just did. So there's no reason to go on down. Then to the right-hand side is going to be a structure. If you drop down, there's a side of grace. So that's all that was really here. A rune, a smithing stone, and a cookbook. Now I told you guys there's a second way to get to that painting. So if you drop there, then use that spirit spring, that'll throw you up on that cliff, and that's, you know, the other way to get the artist shack. So it's not really a big deal. So what we're going to be doing from here is actually going right uphill here. I know I said, you know, that's top portion of limgrave. We're going to wait to do it. Fact of the matter is this top portion's kind of off by itself. So this makes sense to do this now. And it does give you a nice little pile of smithing stones. And a pretty cool little secret within the world, if you don't know about it. So just head back up if you're going for the wolves, and what you're going to do is you're going to see that troll. So like I said, it's like right over here. Like literally right here is where we're going. But you're going to go uphill here, where you see that big troll, then Spirit Spring. But it does give you some more upgrades. And like I said, we want to start piling the stuff up, start bringing up a second weapon. Even if you found a weapon like, oh, use this the whole 100-hour game, you're still going to have a seal. You want to upgrade your shields to get the best protection and the best stability so you can tank more hits. So we're going to grab our smithing one. And then right here's your Spirit Spring. And I was so fascinated with this my first playthrough. If you pass this, if there's this open field where lightning's just constantly striking. Isn't that neat? I don't know why I thought it was so cool. I guess because I've never seen nothing like it in any game I've played. But yeah, I thought it was so cool. Either way, guys. Going up here was a good early game farm I used to use when I was struggling my first playthrough. These guys are all worth $1,000 a pop. Now we're not going to fight them, but what we are going to do is if you go straight up heading west, you're going to see the statue. So this is kind of a secret, I guess. When you see these statues that are glowing around the world, what you want to do is use trolls or whoever is around. It might be a room bear, it might be a troll, whatever is a big enemy. And you have to trigger them to run or attack it, and they will actually break these statues, and you will always get a handful of smithing stones. Look at that, 5 smithing ones, 1 smithing 2, can't beat it. Once we grab that, we're going to run for the lake. Once again, not really much happening, but there's a little structure over here. So you see a handful of wolves. You know they're going to follow you, go ahead and take them. Thank you. Thank you. Then under Troll's foot should be an item. Thank you, my good sir. Just because it is a really tight spot, and he's probably going to get you killed. But now that you got that, we're good to jump on now. So what we're going to be doing now, the closest spot, yeah, because we're at the camp with the gravestones, everything around. Yeah, I bet you Gill Lake South would actually be better. We were going to go from a Gill Lake North, but then we got to run past all that bullshit. So while we're here, we are going to snatch up a level. I said we were going to at least put 5 levels in, right? Now, if you guys want to change it to nighttime, you can. What we're doing is right here. So, you're already seeing the ruins on your map. That's where we're going. We're going to clear around the ruins right out front, and then we're going to run right on in for a mini boss fight in the NPC that is very important. Ties into quest lines and a lot of really cool stuff. Now, if you see this guy, he is going to follow you. Just take him out. He's got a choice. There's actually a cart. I know you guys saw it earlier. It's got a weapon in the back. 2 trolls are pulling it, but it's surrounded by guys, and they're just going to come in on you. So, just go on through, take them all out. Even if they seem like nobodies, which a lot of them are, still 50 guys. You know? Oh, thank you, because that's not annoying at all. Oh, critical attack. What a dick. The other guy knocked us off. I'm not getting my first death to this prick. Thank you. Now, everyone else, for the most part, I think there's still like 2 semi-tough guys, but most of these guys are just cannon fodder at the end of the day. Still won't drop that fucking shield I see. a lot of guys, it only takes a second to wipe them out, especially if you got good AoEs like Flaming Strike like we have, or Hoarfrost Stomp even better. Like if you're actually doing an ant build or strictly strength, because strength scales very well with Frostbite. But yeah, I mean, Hoarfrost Stomp is an absolutely phenomenal AoE. So for those of you that don't know, Frostbite, in my opinion, I actually think it's better in Blood Loss because it works like Blood Loss. When you build up Frostbite enough, like you fill up that status bar, a huge chunk of the enemy's health will proc off. So Blood Loss and Frostbite both do percentage-based health damage, meaning if that stats builds up, it takes off like 20-25% of the enemy's health. So, you know, with Blood Loss, that's cool, but Frostbite does that, and then after, the enemy takes 20% more damage. So, it's kind of similar, but better, in my opinion. Don't be a dick about it, bro. You're literally like a side activity. Don't think you're a main character. Hey. Alright, so strength builds that want a really good weapon, but thought maybe the greatsword was a little too much, a little too big. I actually really like this. Probably not going to reach the requirements yet, unless you're farming. But you will soon enough. I mean, by the time we get to the area, we're already going to be done with all of our base stats and being our damage. So it's not far off, you know. Not in terms of how big the game is. But going on down, Great Axe. So DD, very good for quality, better for strength. Once you get upgrades into it, 13 pounds, 30 strength requirements. So I think you're going to need 20 strength. That's it. You got a Talisman, gives you +5 to strength to help out. But yeah, I mean, it's really good, but it's not so big that it's just like, what the hell? Because it's, you know, it's definitely a big boy strength weapon. But it comes out quick. Look at that. I really did like it a lot. I mean, beef and charge hits. I'm pretty sure it's just got a greatsword moveset. Yeah, greatsword moveset, so definitely felt like it was worth a mention. It's pretty dope. Either way, guys, once you got that cleared out, we're going to be going over here behind and then into your ruins. Now, over here to the right is going to be right here. That's where you enter your room, but we're going to go ahead and take this guy out, get some pretty rare crafting things. I'm not worried about the poison. We have Flame Cleansing. And if you don't, keep on. It's why we recommend build. This is why we did our early run around. Because even if you didn't do the recommended build, Flame Cleansing has such a low requirement. I mean, hell, a mage build could use it, and that's the opposite of faith. It's only like a 12 faith requirement. It's just not bad. It's not that high. Alright, so once you clear him out, you get a nice consumable, but what we're really after is this. Now, this is a little tricky, too, to say the least. So you got to get Torrent. And you got to kind of use you and Torrent. So you're going to line it up. Now if you're good, you can move very slowly and bend this corner. Like so. Grab your Trina's Lily. Then we're going to double jump. And go right into our boss. You see that? Trina Lilies are, it's a really good crafting item. Like I said, you can craft a lot of your sleep stuff, like sleep weapon buffs, so you can put enemies to sleep, or sleep pods. But they are rare, right? So we fought this guy before. I don't really think it's much of a guide. You know, he does use blood loss, except for flail. Really easy to parry his punches. We're trying to stagger him, but remember I told you guys, his helm is so good at blocking all those hits. He just always protected. So the punch is a good guard counter, good parry. Once you got that, the fight's pretty much over. See that? So just a basic enemy. He thought he was a boss. Found out he wasn't. Right? He wasn't. Things only worth 1100. Yeah. Really early game stuff. We're not really worth that much right now. Alrighty. So from here, go ahead, rest on up, pop your door. Let's go and turn on our lantern too. So this is your first, not your first, but one of your bigger NPCs. So she has a side quest that does not come for a long time. When we were down in Weeping Peninsula, there was the ruins they got you guys a spell from, Tombsword Ruins, and you've seen that body hanging. Well, that's part of her quest, right? But we can't even do her quest until we're up here at Altus. This is going to send us through the Three Sisters up here, to the Academy, to Weeping Peninsula, to Caleb. Like, there's so much, you know, but it doesn't happen for a long time. So just remember her. Now, if you were an intelligence build, this is the first mage NPC you would naturally meet. Then you'd go up, talk to her. She'd pretty much tell you, like, she's a sorcerer, but she's a criminal. She's been shunned for using dark magic, forbidden magic. Tell you want to learn anyways, and she would allow you to turn scrolls into her. We chose a different NPC because depending on what you choose, you might get her killed. She might leave at some point, and then you've already turned her the scroll, can't get it back, and then, you know, at that point, you would not be able to buy the spells anymore, right? So, we're not going to give her any scrolls, but even without, she's got a lot of decent stuff. So she sells Glintstone Pebble, Glintstone Arc. If you didn't start as a strictly mage, like you're the prisoner, I told you guys before, Glintstone Arc, very decent AoE for quite some time. Glintstone Stars are 3 projectiles that target the enemy. Those are actually not bad. Crystal Barrage fires a volley of Glintstone Crystal Shards. It's okay. Scholar's Ornament is a very good spell. Enchants right hand ornament with magic damage. So, mage build, you get just a nice physical sword, and you can constantly buff it with magic infusion, so it's really dope. And then you have Scholar's Shield, which just gives you offers you more protection, so you could, you know, enhances left hand shield damage negation, so you can be able to block more stuff such as status effects and things of that nature. If I'm a mage, I'm picking up every spell anyways. If I'm doing faith, which I am, you know, recommended build strength faith, I'm picking up every incantation. I mean, just because you're like, I might not really want to use this, you might feel differently in 30 hours of learning so much more about the game. So with that, guys, we are pretty much wrapped up beside our dragon friend. Now, we still have 15 minutes, we have plenty of time to knock this out. How embarrassing. Oh, he rested. All those guys respawned, so the fucking flower. You gotta give it to him. His range is pretty cool. Pretty impressive. I was trying to say before I was very rudely interrupted. And so all we really have left is the fight with the dragon, so we are going to cover that. Now, dragons seem really intimidating. We're actually not that bad. There's some that are annoying. Sometimes the positioning can be a little shitty, like, you know, you're not getting lined up properly. But all in all, they're not that bad. However, before we take him out, I did want to bring you guys right over here. So if you go to the bridge and shoot to the right, it's not much. But, you know, we're calling 100% walk, though I feel like I gotta get every little thing. There's one item, it's right here. That's it. There you go. And that brings us back down to the main road where we talked to Kenneth Haidt, and, you know, brings you full circle, so. But not really a big deal. I don't want someone being, oh, you missed something over there, you know. Alright, so as mentioned, at this point, all we gotta do is go back into the lake, which we have cleared everything, aside from, you know, the dragon. Now, we're going to go over a guide, kind of live, because, I mean, usually I always break down the boss guides before the fight, but I feel like this is like a super good opportunity to go over it live. That way you could actually see how these things play out. But he's got 3 different types of fire breath. So he'll either go side to side, starting from, I think it's to the right and goes to the left. If he flies over you, just try to run all the way to the left side. Now, if you have your lock on, it can be tough because he'll fly, but he always blows his breath to the left-hand side, so you're running to the left to escape it. If he flies straight up and hovers and blows straight, run backwards, right? Aside from that, he's just got basic stomps, tail swipes, and bites. Now, we're not worried about anything besides his head. I mean, if you're really struggling, you know, you could just stay at his feet, like literally stay and whack on his legs, and eventually put him down. But if you target his head, we can actually stagger him. Then we get critical damage, and, you know, we're getting big, beefy damage off, and that's what we want. So, that's what I would recommend. Now, as soon as you get to this island where all these guys are praising him, check it out. It's so animated. It's awesome. Look at that. Whoa! Like I said, what we want is his head. The charge heavies are best, but positioning is tough. Jump heavies work nicely. Now, I love when he does a stomp, because check it out. If he stomps, boom, I roll through, guess where I'm at? Right at his head. You see that? So I love that. At this point, I'm too close, I can't escape it, it's fine. If he blows fire at you, do not block with his shield, just take it. Because what happens is if you're stagger gets broken where you're blocking, you're going to take increased damage from that hit. And then it's usually the one shot, so just be cautious. Oh, you bastard. See what I'm saying about positioning? Come here. It's a rough spot in the lake. They said you got all the shit in your way. So stomp or go in, get right by his head, or miss completely, that's fine too. Now if you're like fighting an enemy and you're like, I've hit him like 12 charged heavies, why is this stagger not broke? It's probably because you're waiting too long to do it. So you see how he went straight up? We just ran back. That's how we do it with that one. Side to side, like I said, go right to the left. Go through. See, we had all those charged heavies. We should have broke his stagger, but we didn't because we waited too long. Remember I said run to the left. Obviously, he might get spin around, change direction, but typically it's to the left-hand side. God. I try to keep him in the lake, but it's so hard. That's alright. We gotta get away from this fucking platform. Like, this is a nightmare. Worst possible way this fight can go. Not when we, you know, where we are. But I said, man, positioning. I can't believe I got his whole health and we ain't staggered the guy. Come on, buddy. Run to the left, fast. Remember what I said, the lock-on can kind of fuck you sometimes. Now we're right back by the structure. Does not want to be run away. Maybe we just get him to come over here. Save us some fucking trouble. Because this is just ungodly annoying at this point. I mean, just bushes and trees and collapsed structures. Cliffs. It's really not like this. Most times you fight dragon, you have a lot of room. This one's just, it's obnoxious, is what it is. He should be too high to get to it. Yeah, see. He's gotta come down. I told you, man, positioning is the worst, bro. Do your stomp, please. Thank you. The roll. As I told you before, that's my favorite move with the guy. It puts his head right where I want it. I can't hit him. Nope. That's straight fire. There you go. So he's being annoying. That's what you got spells for. That's exactly what I said about, you know, the recommended build of strength faith. You know, just having options, right? So typically that was rough, right? That was a little rough. The positioning was just fucking god-awful nightmare. Typically you're gonna fight him around, you know, here, and we got pushed back that way. But if you get pushed this way, it's just wide open. You just got to remember, if he jumps straight up and hovers and does fire, that's going to be straight, right? So you're going to run backwards from this. Like if he just rock, will run backwards. If he does side to side, he's going to start from the right, then blow this way. So you can just run all the way around before he gets to that point, get behind his head, good opportunity for charge heavy, or roll under the flames to the right. Besides that, it's just 1 foot stomps, tail swipes. Now if he flies up and does a double stomp, like I said, it's perfect, because if you're locked on, you're going to roll towards his head. He misses a stomp, you're right there for that charge heavy. And those are the key things, I would say. The key takeaways, so you guys can line things up the way you want them and get, you know, that big damage off. So we're going to go ahead and remove our markers. Before we close out, we're going to jump over to the Church of Dragon Communion. So now that you got your first Dragon Heart, you can actually buy your first spell if, you know, it actually goes with your build. I think the early on ones, we may be close to stat requirements. Yeah, so if I put 2 levels in Arcane, we can do Dragon Fire. We'll get more faith anyways, but 3 points we can get Dragon Claw, and then 6 points into Arcane we can get Dragon Maw, which summons a big dragon so you can bite their head. So I mean, they're all pretty cool, just not really for our build. As mentioned, I want everything, so I'm gonna be picking up all the spells and everything else. Now, as far as your trophies for collecting spells, talismans, summons, and weapons, you'll need the legendary, you know, legendary talisman spells, weapons, and all that. So you don't need every single spell. It's not Dark Souls, right? Thank God, because there's so many in this game. Either way, guys, now we have everything at the lower limgrave done. In fact, we have everything, you know, all the way up to here done. Next episode, I'm going to take you guys across, you know, we're going to knock that out up top. We're going to knock all this. And then all we have is a couple boss fights, and Limgrave's wrapped up. So we're making pretty good progress. I mean, we're sitting here at episode 6, but the first 4 episodes, we're getting ready for the journey, right? A lot of running around and rounds of hold. So we've accomplished a lot as we started to get going. But either way, guys, with that, we're going to wrap up. I think the best starting point for next episode will actually be down here at Summon Water Village Outskirts. The reason being is I was thinking about starting this way first, but this Evershield fight is hard. Early game, it's really hard, so it does make the most sense to slowly, you know, knock this out, slowly work our way down, doing caves and catacombs, get you guys some levels, and then we'll, you know, end the episode with that fight. Let's try to make things a little bit easier. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on over to Summon Water Village. So we actually get a new casting weapon for Faith builds. Remember, I said we got, you know, we got the staffs for Mage, but Faith didn't really get anything. So your seal, we'll be getting you guys a Claw Mark seal next episode. It's really good with Strength Faith, so pretty excited about it. But either way, guys, we are going to wrap up here. So as always, hope you guys are enjoying the walkthrough. Hope it has been helpful, and we will catch you back here shortly.